We are going to look at Quad Draw in Maya in this tutorial, which is a retopology tool obviously built into Maya using the new kind of modelling toolkit. It has a range of good features actually. Obviously the fact that it's integrated into Maya helps you if you don't want to export to software like 3D Coat, but also this is actually a very good tool in its own right. Also with the new Maya viewports can handle a significant amount of polygons now, so you don't have to worry about decimating your meshes too much in ZBrush. So I've got an example model here. So I've just taken one of the example models from ZBrush, so it's about 2 million faces or something like that. So you can open this file. I'll just save it as Julie and upload it onto the Moodle page. Okay, so the first thing we need to do then is make sure you've got your modelling toolkit activated, which is just this button up here, and then you'll see your modelling toolkit here. You can actually tick on auto activate modelling toolkit as well, so it's always on. You can see we've got the Quad Draw tool down here, and just to show you, if I just activate this straight away and just start clicking and then hold shift and left click in the middle, that will make a face. Then click again and you can just keep building up faces. So basically, essentially what you're doing here is adding sets of 4 points. So obviously it's quads, so Quad Draw. Once you're finished making something, if you just go to object mode, you can now edit it just as you would a standard model. So you can see I can go to vertex mode and now tweak this just like you would a standard scene. You can also use your usual tools like insert, edge loop and so on, but if you wanted to, you could actually go back to Quad Draw and then carry on editing this afterwards. So it's quite an important point, this, the fact that you can keep editing your topology afterwards, and then go back to Quad Draw again. So you can use the standard modelling tools for a bit if you want, and then go back to Quad Draw. So that is the kind of essence of Quad Draw. You're drawing out sets of points and making new geometry from that. So what about when it comes to retopologizing a model? Well, the first thing we need to do is select our model and then tick on this option here. What this option has done is make this model a snappable surface. So when we use Quad Draw now, it will snap straight to this. So let's give it a go. So select Quad Draw and then we will start clicking to add points onto our model. And if we just rotate round, you'll see that they have snapped to the surface. So remember to hold shift to add faces in here, and then the same again, like so. So let's have a look at some of the other tools before I start explaining some of the kind of pitfalls of this. So the first thing you can do is, obviously we know about left click and holding shift to add points, but also if you just go over a point and hold the left mouse button, you can move this point around and it will stay snapped to the surface, like so. You can also move edges, and you can actually move edge loops as well. And to do that, you just hold Control and Shift, hold the middle mouse button, and you can move that loop like that. So just try that real quick. You can move stuff around with the left mouse button or the roller ball. If you hold Control and Shift, you can move loops like so. And you can also obviously move verts. So another useful thing here is if we just say line this up around the shoulder, and let's just quickly add another loop in to make this make a bit more sense. So we'll go around there. So if we look here, it looks like we're going to need another loop. So to add another loop in, if you just hold Control, then you can click, and that will add a loop, and it will automatically make that stick to the surface. So that's useful too. If you want to delete faces out, you can do that too. You see, if you hold Control and Shift, you have a little X, and you just left click, and that will take out loops. Let's say you've added some points, too many maybe. Again, if you just hold Control and Shift and just left click on them, that will take them out. So Control and Shift is pretty much, and left click is delete basically. Okay, so you can also extrude from these. If you just hold Tab, and you can actually drag out, and you'll notice how it will snap to the edge here as well. I'm not sure, but you might be able to. No, I don't think you can. Oh yeah, if you hold Tab and the roller ball, you can extrude a loop out. So Tab and left mouse to extrude one edge, Tab and roller ball to extrude that whole thing out there. Okay, so that's pretty much it. One other thing you can do is, if you hold Shift and left mouse button in, you can relax these verts. So hold down Shift and just left mouse button, and you can relax those in. So there's numerous tools there. So let's have a look at another way to work then. So if I hold down Tab and the roller ball and extrude this set right down here, rather than, and maybe if I just pull this down as well. So we're going to pull this loop all the way down here using Control, Shift and the roller ball. So one good way to work, rather than just adding loads of points in, is to just drag your set all the way down there and then just add edge loops in, like so. And obviously then that will align it to the topology. And then you can simply move these around using the tools like so. So the tools themselves are relatively kind of easy to learn. There's nothing like too complex here. The complexity comes in from when you're from learning about how to create good topology. Let's just quickly show you, if I turn off Quad Draw now and select the model here, and we'll just isolate that. You can see I've got my geometry now, and we'll just smooth that out as well. So you can see I've just got my nice kind of clean geometry right there. Remember to turn that off now, and now you can literally just do what you want with this and tweak it as you will. And that's kind of the essence of Quad Draw really. There's not much more to it than that. So the next thing I really want to cover though is making sure you have your topology correct right from the start, because you can see how I've modelled this. This isn't right. My topology isn't right here, so what I'm going to have to do is just go in and spend ages tweaking it. So what you need to make sure is that you have an idea of the amount of loops you want in your neck, arms, waist, legs and head and so on, and obviously that then aligns to the wrist and how many you're going to have for your hands and so on. Have your topology kind of reference ready, and there's plenty of available topology kind of resources. Obviously we've been through a lot already, so you should have a good kind of knowledge of this. So with some topology examples you can figure out how many loops you want to have in your model. As I've explained to you before, a good kind of basic way to work is to, if you're going to have 16 around the neck, then have 8 around the arms, 8 around the wrists, and so on. So that can be a good way to work, and you should have my slides available for that. But just really make sure that you know straight from the bat how many loops you want to have in your model. Obviously, another limitation of this is its quads, so you haven't got any tries in this. So you want to, if you're going to do any triangle edits, you want to do them kind of outside of quad draw. So obviously you could do stuff like that and just make a try out of it there, and just bear in mind that even though this is limited to quads, remember that game meshes can easily get away with having tries. Okay, so I think that's about it for quad draw. Can't think of anything else to show, but yeah, so just to recap, the important thing, make sure you know your topology early on, so you know exactly how many loops. Remember, if you've got 16 in the neck, have 8 in the arm, 8 around the wrist, and construct your hand and so on for that. Also, I definitely suggest having a whole ton of good topology examples available, so you can just look at them and see if we've got quite a good one there for the actual body. So you can look at them and think and take some inspiration from those. But yeah, other than that, the tool's pretty simple. I also suggest you have a shortcut list open for quad draw, and there's one of them available on Moodle, because there are quite a lot of little shortcuts for this, which takes some kind of getting used to. Okay, all good.